All right. Yep. Peace to the family. Uh, my name is Shu Amun. I am here with my master Sifu Andre Parker. How you doing there, Sifu?
Hey, sure.
All right, man. Good to hear from you always. We are here at Warrior Talk. I think I may start to call it amongst the Moon Warriors Academy, wherein we're using the warrior way as a tool to restore the identity and life conditioning of the individual. And I just wanted to have this conversation with Sifu and see, what is the warrior way, to someone who has such a. First of all, I just want to say, could you just share with us who you are, what you represent?
Well, I've been studying martial arts for many, many years. Uh, Actually, it was about 40. I started off at 8 years old. I trained in Taekwondo, Kung Do, uh, Jeet Kune Do, Hapkido, Combat Hapkido, Wing Chun, Kung Fu, ground survival, weapons, knife, single stick, gun disarming, cane, and trained with many great Jeet Kune Do masters, Sifu Ted Wong, Jesse Glover, Daniel Santo, Professor Gary Dill, and many more. So it's been a long journey.
Man, that's
I started,
amazing. I mean,
yeah, I started teaching at 17.
wow. See, and and you know what? We're already going to agree to the fact that that's a warrior in training all his life, right? That's a you had that mindset mindset developed within you at a tender age. I mean, and if you look at
Early
many
age.
other, if you look at many other cultures throughout the world, I mean, that's what the warriors did. They trained their children at an early age. That was within that, community culture, what have you. So I just wanted to say that's amazing. Sifu is like as many as times I've tried to ask you that question, like, man, how did you do this? Like, where did you learn from? Like, when did that happen? It's like I can never really get the whole story. Wherein I can understand it. Right away.
Yeah, I
It's just like,
understand.
man, that's powerful. How that journey took place, and man, that reputation that follows, and that experience, that wisdom, um, you know, with that kind of ability and capability, man, that's powerful, man. But I want to ask you these questions real quick. What is the warrior identity to you, and how do you identify with it?
Well, as a martial artist, I believe that the identity of a warrior is mentally, physically, and spiritually. Physically, you should be able to, you should keep in shape, keep in shape, eat right, uh, the typical knowledge that you will get from martial arts that really cares for his body out practicing what they preach and things of that nature. And that spiritual development comes from uh, reading and studying, uh, learning from your teachers, gaining knowledge from your teachers, and of course the physical aspects of it in itself, constantly honing and developing your techniques.
Man.
Yes.
And so what? And pertaining
I'm
to
at the
that,
pause for a minute. I'm at the pause for a minute.
okay.
I'm on the podcast for more people. I'm on the podcast for more people. Okay. Yes.
So real quick, I
So,
won't be. We gonna run through them real quick, Sifu. I got you. I hear you trying to get settled, but what is JKD and what is its philosophy, or you know, yeah, what is the philosophy of JKD, and does um it relate to the warrior way?
completely. It was developed by a warrior. Bruce Lee was a warrior, and he wasn't a wannabe warrior. He was a true warrior. Uh, and one thing that I like to mention is that being a warrior is more than just martial arts. It means being a warrior of life, of living. Um, it takes a warrior to live in this rough world daily, to go through life's ins and outs, its pains, its struggles, its frustrations, its disappointments, and things of that nature. It takes a warrior to go through that. And I believe that Bruce Lee has truly, um, from what I hear, of the things that he's gone through, being Chinese, trying to come here to America and do the things that he did. And it truly took a warrior to get through that in itself.
Right, that
And
adversity of like teaching peoples who were non-Chinese, and also like with his
exactly,
with his wife Linda, there was that some altercations, and from what I heard, some situations with that
exactly,
prejudices with that from what I heard. And also I heard it was also because he hung around black people too. I'm
yes,
just saying, this is something I heard.
yes.
So,
I mean, and he taught whomever he felt like teaching.
right.
Uh, some people say, which I think is ignorant, he did it just to feed his family. I think he did it because he truly felt that he had something to offer everybody and every individual, not just Chinese culture. I think he earnestly wanted to put his best foot forward and uh,
Mm,
teach, whoever has good character.
right. Because he, from what I can tell, was going by universal principles and was trying to help one gain, uh, I would say, enlightenment. I mean, it does say it in the Tao of JKD, regardless to where he got it from. Because I know people like to say, "Oh, well, he got it from this, he got it from that." It doesn't matter. It's that interconnection, that that oneness, that divine oneness that one can recognize or realize, and sometimes in some cases be taught about, and they're actually trying to apply it. I mean, I would say that's really important. And so with him doing that, I look at it like, man, that's someone who wanted to recognize that divine responsibility, you know, at its max with whoever he, you know, who acts. It
Good.
wasn't a secret, but yet he did have his personal approach, and that's what would bring me to the next question with you, Sifu. Is what is your daily principles, and how does JKD carry out those principles?
Uh, simple, direct, simple, direct. Simple and directness is a very important tool that I use in life. Um, Jeet Kune Do stresses simplicity and directness above all things. And to use that in daily life, I'm a very simple person. The way I live, I um I only get that which is a necessity. I don't squander my money away. Um, I don't buy unnecessary things. Uh, in my conversation with people, I'm very direct. I don't beat around the bush. Um, and as I do things, even like I'm a barber, I take the most direct path to getting the job done. There's many ways that I could be a barber, but the simplest way is the best way.
Mm. And let
Well,
me
what do
ask you
you
something
think?
about that seafood. Being that you said simplicity, right? I
Uh,
mean, would you? Is it fair? Is it to be fair to say that spontaneity is why simplicity is like the best approach, best tool?
yeah, because simplicity allows for um, spontaneity.
Mm.
Because boxing has what, five techniques: jab, cross, hook, uppercut, um, a overhand, and from there they hone their tools, and that's what Jeet Kune Do is about: honing your tools, not accumulating tools, but honing the tools that you have, and being able to find tools that fit into what is necessary, not the flavor of the month type thing.
Mm. And see, that would make me ask you. See, you just made me think about something, and this wasn't even a question, but now I gotta ask. So does that? So with that, would you, based on what you just said, is it safe to say one should actualize more so than conceptualize themselves, based on what you said?
Yeah, because actualization, to me, runs through simplicity.
Mm.
You can you can you can accomplish more through simplicity because we don't want to have, like in Buddhist we say, monkey mind. Uh, the more you have, the more you have to do, the more tangled maze you have, and and therein lies the complexity of it all.
Mm.
The simpler the techniques, the better, the quicker the response. Um,
Ah. And then see
and
now we got two more to go. I didn't mean to cut you off, Seafood. You just maybe
that's all
bring
right.
want to bring this up. So therefore, does JKD have a culture based on those principles, and how does the warrior way play out within that culture? I yeah, yes sir.
Um, uh, Culture is a particular set of particular way of doing things.
Mm.
Whether it be from an African culture, Indian culture, um, Caucasian culture, we all do things in a particular way. Um, but as a martial artist, and especially Jeet Kune Do,
Mm-hmm.
our particular way is simplicity,
There we go. That's the
and
culture.
simplicity is key.
Yes.
And I know that a lot of people think more is better, and to each his own, I would say. But the ultimate truth, as Bruce said, lies in simplicity. And, how can you study 26 different styles of martial arts instead and say that you're being simplicity.
Mm.
You see, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
My man. Last question, Sifu. Do you feel that JKD could be essential to warrior culture and vice versa? I mean, we already covered the fact that it's in it, but so don't worry about the vice versa part. Let's say, does it? Do you feel as though it would be essential to the a warrior culture? Let's say we could have today. Do you feel that the way of the warrior is necessary today in modern times? So there we go. Like if we put that together, like do you feel as though JKD could be something that's
It's
essential
it's
to
still
the
it's
warrior
still
culture?
a necessity because um, traditions grow old,
Mm.
right? But Jeet Kune Do is not, even for those who think that um, Jeet Kune Do, they say Jeet Kune Do is stylized, it's becoming stylized. No, it just has a certain standard of rules and guidelines that we try to adhere to, but we're not confined to them. So we try to, uh, in today's time, uh, adhere to the principle of Jeet Kune Do even in your life, and that's the most important thing to me. You may never get to fight a day in your life, but the principles that you've learned through Jeet Kune Do, uh, uh, going back to simple directness, non-classicalism, you can take these principles and uh, encourage it in our culture today. It
Right.
doesn't have to be martial arts. You know, you can
Right.
apply this, and it was meant to be applied to our today's time. That's
Right.
why traditions must transcend tradition in order to continue to grow.
Right. I know for me personally, it has definitely helped me to, again, once again, actualize myself. Because I know you remember how I was, Sifu. I mean, it wasn't like I was, a horrible human being or something. But let's just say I didn't always express myself like openly, honestly, and sometimes I'm trying to get a hold of how
Yeah.
much I speak. But point being, I wasn't always like that.
Well, I was telling a coworker about you the other day and how you have become in tune with yourself compared to where you
Thank
used to be. I believe at one point you wasn't truly sure of who you were as a human being, who Chris was. And I think Chris has found Chris now. And I think Jeet Kune Do has a big part of that.
you. Well, it's found shoe. That's
Forgive me, Shu. Now, Shu, of course, I've known you for over God knows how many years
yeah,
as
yeah. No, I
Chris,
get it.
but now it is Shu. And forgive me for saying otherwise, but I think that it is important for people to know what your old name is too, Chris, because it's
Recognizing that
because
transition,
that
yes, sir.
that is a big part of your life. You are
I
Chris,
got you.
and if you realize that Chris is what you transcended from,
Yes.
now you're Shu Ami.
Shimon, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And now this individual truly knows himself. He understands where he's going, where he's trying to go, what he's trying to do. And he's taking avenues in which to accomplish it.
Thank you, Sifu. Absolutely, and I mean that, but that's that line of where I knew I wanted to be and where I was coming from, even as a child. And Bruce pointed out things like denying oneself actual, like I said, actualizing oneself. I mean, all the expressing oneself as a human being to the maximum. How it's hard to do. I mean, because I mean, as we were, about to close, I just want to say for me what it has done ultimately at this point in time in my life. If I could say right now what it's doing for me, it's helping me to restore my African warrior identity.
Right.
And to me that's in that would imply divine responsibility. Like I recognize that I, like you said, that I have that capability, that responsibility to protect myself and others, and see to it that there's a balance, that there's some order, that there is, all of these things, uh, in terms of justice and righteousness. And I mean, that's that
Indeed.
warrior way. And giving up
Indeed.
one's, let's say, past, and having that to define them, and seeing who you are right here and now.
Right.
JKD definitely brought me into the now moment. It definitely
Yeah.
has done that for me.
I
So
used to wonder what Bruce Lee meant. He would always say thusness and isness, and now I understand.
yes, sir.
Now I understand. Isness is what it is. Basically,
Yes, sir.
it is what it is.
Well,
Yeah.
Sifu, we gonna run this thing back again another day, and of course, we gonna catch up, and I already know, that wrath of Master Parker will fall upon me one day. So,
I haven't gotten any slower.
oh, I'm sure, man. Look.